Are you able to see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Just one moment. It has come to, yeah, I think it has to come like a slideshow. Okay, right. No problem. Yeah, are you able to see? Okay. Shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. In this Sunday edition of the Art Initiative, we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is on tobacco cessation. This is going to be a very long topic, but I'm going to give an outline of the topic of tobacco, and then I'll enumerate some of the works which we have been doing for the last 22 years in Warangal in association with various organizations and medical students and allied medical students like pharmacy students. This is very important because in the context of COVID, the issue of tobacco usage is very important, because through the droplet transmission, either in smokers or those who use an oral form of tobacco, the smokeless form of tobacco, that has been one of the factors which has been leading to the increased incidence of COVID-19 pandemic. So in that concept, I thought of discussing this topic, tobacco cessation. When meditating over a disease, I never think of finding a remedy for it, but instead a means of preventing it. This is what Louis Pasteur has been telling in 1884. So the prevention of usage of tobacco is very important, being one of the most common preventable cause of death, the second common cause of death throughout the world. And this topic I am going to deal with about the facts of tobacco, then the health effects of tobacco, then the ill effects of tobacco, what are the benefits of tobacco cessation. If someone stops tobacco, how does it help them? And briefly about tobacco dependence, both the physical, psychological dependence, then about tobacco cessation, like the how you train a trainer, like anticipating that majority of in the audience, all of in the audience, be medical students, medical faculty, allied medical health professionals from pharmacy. These we expect that during the to build up a cohort of the next generation of preventive cardiology and preventive health, so that you can take a part in the way which we have been doing for the last 22 years. It is the most common preventable cause of death. Nearly 1/3 of the people around the world take tobacco. That is around 29%, majority in men, and around 1.3 billion smokers live in throughout the world, 1.3 billion, and of which 80% live in the low to middle income countries. 50% of tobacco regular users die from usage of tobacco, either direct or indirect form of tobacco. The various forms of tobacco usage, that is the nicotine tobacco, it forms from the either the smoking form or the non-smoking form or the oral form of usage of tobacco. The smoking forms, the cigarettes, cigars, the bidis, and chutta. These are the common form of the smoking forms of tobacco usage, and the gutka, khaini, amber, and all those things, they come under the smokeless form of tobacco. 1 in 10 deaths worldwide are because of tobacco usage, either directly or indirectly, and every death, one death every 6 seconds is because of tobacco usage. 700 million children are supposed to be affected from tobacco usage, and of which 50% of the world's children, they breathe tobacco, basically because of the second-hand smoke. So tobacco epidemic kills 80%, 8 million people every year, of which 7 million are users or ex-users, either past or present usage of tobacco, and around 1.2 million are basically non-smokers because of second-hand smoke. So this is about the various forms of in the epidemic of tobacco. Basically, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 have been described. India is in the stage 2, where there is a higher prevalence in men, ill-developed tobacco control activities. There is increased cigarette smoking even in women too. Initially, the initiation of tobacco usage in India is at a very young age. Average age is around 16 to 17 years, and the population doesn't understand the health risks of tobacco usage. And out of the world's smokers, India has around 10% of the world's smokers. It is the second largest consumer and producer of tobacco, leading to deaths due to cancer, cardiovascular disease, and stroke. 8 to 9 lakh people die due to tobacco-related disease in India, and 13% of deaths in India are because of tobacco-related deaths. 40% of tuberculosis-related deaths and half of cancers among males and those of 1/4 in females are tobacco-related. This constitutes the large disease burden due to tobacco in India. And as I told, the tobacco usage is in many forms. BD is the common form of tobacco usage in rural areas and cigarette smoking in the urban areas. Pan, which is the betel quid, is the most common form of chewable tobacco. Khaini or tobacco lime mixture is the most commonly used form of tobacco, followed by gutka, betel quid. This is basically in the rural areas. So in the rural areas, it's the BD, and in the urban areas, it is the cigarette usage, which is quite common, and the other oral forms of tobacco. This is the pictorial diagram of how tobacco can lead to every part of the body is affected because of smoking and second-hand smoke, cancers, chronic diseases. So cardiovascular disease, stroke, malignancies, the hematological malignancies, and the lung problems. These are related because of the tobacco usage. And tobacco is the leading cause of 8 leading causes of death are because of tobacco usage. Ischemic heart disease, cerebrovascular disease, lower respiratory infection, COPD, HIV, diarrheal diseases, tuberculosis. Out of all these, 8 are the leading causes of death because of tobacco usage. Now, the knowledge which I am giving you to the slides is basically to enlighten you and give you knowledge so that you can be the volunteers in tobacco cessation as a part of this art initiative. Majority of the points you must be well aware of, but this is a training program which is given by the WHO, usually in the same form. I am giving you this training program on tobacco cessation, primarily for the primary care physicians and medical and allied medical health professionals. Second-hand smoke. So what is second-hand smoke? It is otherwise called as environmental tobacco smoke or passive smoking. It is basically constituted by the mainstream smoke and the side stream smoke. Mainstream smoke is one which is exhaled by the smoker and that is drawn through the tobacco into an active smoker's mouth. That is the mainstream smoke. Side stream smoke is the one which comes from the burning end of a cigarette or any other cigarette tobacco product, pipe or cigar. That is so the mainstream smoke is one which is exhaled by the smoker and which is drawn through the tobacco into a smoker's mouth and then exhaled out. That is the mainstream smoke. Side stream smoke is the one which comes from the burning ends of the cigarette or the tobacco product. The mainstream smoke comprises 8% of tar and 92% gaseous components. See, any smoke, it is divided into a tar, that is a particulate matter, and the other one is the 92% is the gaseous component. These are the ones which contain the chemicals which are deleterious to health. Now, one word about third-hand smoke, which I will tell later on after coming. Environmental tobacco smoke is a component of the side stream smoke, as I told you, around 85 to 90%, and the exhaled mainstream smoke, which is 50%. And the side stream smoke contains relatively higher concentration of the toxic gaseous component than the mainstream smoke. 4,000 chemicals are identified in tobacco smoke, of which 250 are known to be harmful, and of which 50 are known to be cancerous. So polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, nitrosamines, aromatic amines, toluene, ammonia, and inorganic components. These are the components which are known to be injurious to health, and these are the components of the second-hand smoke. So, as I told you, the cigarette smoke or the second-hand smoke contains a tar phase and the particulate matter, and the gas phase is the other one. The radical, basically those associated with the tar phase, these are long-lived. They last from hours to months, whereas the radical associated with the gaseous phase have a lifespan of a few seconds to minutes. Okay, that is the reason comes the third-hand smoke. So what is third-hand smoke? Someone is smoking, you enter you are an employee or you are in contact, you are an employee or a worker in a situation where some people are smokers in that work area, workplace. And if these people, they smoke continuously, the tar component, that is a particulate matter, will stick on to the tables, curtains, doors, walls in that area, and they last for hours to months. And this component, which comes from the mainstream smoke, is the one which is deleterious. So whoever frequents that workplace or area or room, they are going to be affected. That is the reason for that is called a third hand smoke, which will affect by in contact with the equipment in that room or the tables or door curtains, and whoever is frequent to that area, even if he is not a smoker, that particulate matter will affect the health of that individual frequenting in that area. That is third hand smoke. So it is established unequivocally that smoke exposure to tobacco smoke causes 3 Ds: death, disease, and disability. Death, disease, and disability. So what some people might say, yeah, there is a safe level of second hand smoke. No, there's nothing like a safe level of second hand smoke. So there's no safe level of environmental tobacco smoke. Any level is injurious to health. There's no safe level of exposure. It causes 6 lakhs premature deaths and commonly leading to sudden infant death syndrome, acute respiratory illness, middle ear disease, respiratory symptoms, coronary disease, and other reproductive organs also. Tobacco will have an ill effect. So the ill effects of tobacco broadly, you can say, they affecting the cardiovascular system, the pulmonary system, the reproductive organs, and effect of the women in the pregnant women, and those affecting the children also. So I'll basically tell you the cardiovascular disease being the predominant one. This is because of damage to the endothelium, lining of the endothelial blood vessels. It will decrease the coronary flow velocity and accelerate the process of atherosclerosis. It may produce an acute coronary syndrome, an acute heart disease, or a chronic heart disease. The mechanisms basically are because of vasomotor dysfunction, thrombosis, leukocyte activation, lipid peroxidation, inflammation, smooth muscle proliferation. All these lead to atherosclerosis progression. It is not only the smoking form, but the smokeless tobacco is proven to lead to cardiovascular disease. The mechanisms and in detail we can discuss later on. But so smoking and smokeless form, not cigarette alone, but the smokeless form like gutka, khaini, amber, whatever we see in routine clinical practice consumed by some of the patients, we have seen cases presenting with an acute coronary syndrome and cardiovascular disease. 2. Pulmonary involvement. Pulmonary involvement is because of damage to the pulmonary mucosa, and smokers and users of tobacco are prone to have infectious diseases precipitating common tuberculosis also. And this is because tobacco smoke inhibits or induces enzymes in the human tissue, produces gene mutations and chromosomal abnormalities. So the chemical composition of tobacco smoke is influenced by how these individuals smoke. You can see the reverse tota smoking, which is one form described in the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. In some people where women have this reverse tota smoking, supposed to lead to oral malignancies. Type of tobacco. There is nothing like a light cigar or a high quantity cigar. Any type of tobacco usage can lead to disease. Design of the smoking device or product. Even the electronic cigarettes, which are banned by the present government, they also can lead to ill effects of tobacco. So electronic cigarettes and they also can lead to tobacco ill health. Or even the presence or absence of filters, ventilation, porosity, all these additives, they can influence the ill effects of tobacco. The effects of tobacco use on pregnant women, they increase pregnancy-related complications, premature delivery, low birth weight. Okay, and tobacco is related to lung cancer and other types of cancer of the GI tract and hematological malignancies like myeloid leukemia. Over the effect, how does it affect is nicotine causes constriction of the blood vessels of the umbilical cord, decreasing the amount of oxygen available to the fetus. So pregnant women, if they are exposed to second-hand smoke, they are likely to have stillbirth or low birth weight babies. It can lead to sudden infant death syndrome also. And because the chemicals in the second-hand smoke, they affect the brain and they affect the regulation of infant's breathing, thereby leading to sudden infant death syndrome. And children, the progeny of women who are exposed to second-hand smoke, they are likely to have recurrent lung infections. One word is about cotinine. Cotinine is the metabolite of nicotine, and in human blood, urine, or saliva, this is a test which is done by basically insurance nowadays. If there is evidence of nicotine in the blood or urine, it will distinguish those between active and passive smokers and non-smokers. Nicotine is a metabolite. So, what are the health effects of tobacco cessation? If someone quits tobacco, within 20 minutes, the heart rate and blood pressure drops. Within 12 hours, the carbon monoxide level in the blood returns to normal level. And as time passes, the risk of coronary disease will reduce half of smoker within a year. And by 5 years, the stroke risk also is reduced, like developing a cerebrovascular accident. And if they stop smoking for 10 years, the risk of lung cancer falls to that of a smoker. And if the risk of coronary disease also, it will take 15 years to reach the level of a non-smoker level. So this point is very important, because if we get many tobacco users in our routine clinical practice, either in the clinics or hospitals and the acute care setting, if you ask them whether they use tobacco, they say that they have stopped tobacco a week back or 2 days back or 3 days back, and they expect that they should be devoid of the risk of tobacco. No. So for the level of tobacco, like the quit tobacco, it will take a long time to get the to reach the level of a risk of a normal person. So cardiovascular disease, it is various studies have shown between 5 to 15 years, but average is around 12 years, 12 to 15 years. So if someone stops using tobacco, even now, the risk to reach that of a non-smoker is around 10 to 15 years, around 12 to 15 years. Next, after knowing the epidemiology of tobacco, the facts related to tobacco, world tobacco usage, those related to Indian statistics, the health effects of tobacco, and what are the benefits of tobacco cessation, we need to understand why tobacco usage is a disease and it's an addiction. It could be because of the physical or physiological dependence. It could be because of emotional or psychological connection, or habitual or social connection. Basically, this is because of addiction to nicotine. Nicotine will have effect over the brain's dopamine system. It will increase the number of nicotine receptors in the brain, and smokers need great amounts of tobacco to bind to this nicotine, the growing number of nicotine receptors, in order to achieve the same level of satisfaction. So what is the pathophysiology of nicotine dependence? Nicotine is not directly a carcinogen. This will exert its, or directly doesn't affect, will exert its neurophysiological action through the brain's dopaminergic system or the limbic system. This neuroanatomical complex, the mesolimbic dopamine system, stretches from the ventral tegmental area to the basal forebrain. Nucleus accumbens is a dopamine-rich area which is an intersection with addictive behavior beat. Okay, so the release of dopamine at this neuroanatomical complex of the mesolimbic dopamine system or the nucleus accumbens, okay, promotes pleasure and reinforces the addictive behaviors such as the use of alcohol and drugs. So remember, nicotine thus leads to a dependence basically over the effect over the dopaminergic system. Monoamine oxidase is an enzyme which is involved in the metabolism of catecholamines, including dopamine. Nicotine reduces the monoamine oxidase level, resulting in the lingering presence of dopamine at the. So monoamine oxidase metabolizes dopamine. So nicotine will reduce the monoamine oxidase, thereby it will see that the dopamine is present in the nucleus accumbens or the dopaminergic system, thereby the addictive behavior occurs. These are some of the other effects of nicotine. So primarily in the oral form, it is an inhalational form which will reach the which will affect very fast or rapidly. Through the lung, it will reach the arterial bloodstream, the left side of the heart, and it will go to the brain immediately within 7 to 10 seconds. If it is through the skin, it is a slightly delayed through the venous system, to the right side of the heart and the left side of the heart, and reaches the brain. So it is the oral form which will reach through the inhalation form which will reach the brain faster within 7 to 10 seconds and activate it. So the pathophysiology of nicotine withdrawal is nicotine will increase the number of nicotine receptors, and when the receptors are empty, they make you feel uncomfortable and increase the urge to smoke again. So the smoker will have an urge to smoke, consume it. Again, the receptors are activated. This will lead to a vicious circle and lead to a physical or psychological dependence. So what is withdrawal? The body's response to when there is no nicotine, when there is no dopamine is not activated, there is a withdrawal phenomenon and they manifest in different ways. These are various symptoms of nicotine withdrawal: headaches, cough, craving, and other symptoms. So after physical and psychological dependence, we have the habitual or social connection. Many people, like predominantly, we have the social influence more particularly over the children. Why? Children are more likely to start smoking when the parents smoke. So it's a peer pressure sometimes. When the friends smoke, these people also are likely to smoke. When someone enters a pub, other people are smoking. When others are taking alcohol, they try to smoke. And the social connection, which will lead to a craving and ultimately leading to someone, suppose if they are taking coffee, they try to smoke during the time. At the end of the meal, there's a habit of taking. That's the reason majority in restaurants, they smoke at the end of a meal. Or someone who is watching a TV, they try to smoke. So this is the habitual and social connection, which we have to keep it in mind when we deal with a tobacco user. So all these factors interact in leading to a dependence over tobacco usage or nicotine addiction, that is both the physical or the physiological dependence, the psychological dependence, and the social factors. Okay. Now, we get many patients, when we ask them, these are the various reasons. It could be why people use tobacco or smoke is because of addiction, social activity, relief of stress, emotional support, boredom. So these are like when someone is smoking, why shouldn't I? These are some of the things. And when someone is like we have so many things, the influence of the films also. Whether you and I as doctors or medical professionals, when we insist on tobacco cessation, or it takes a long time for them to indulge in tobacco cessation, whereas someone like a film star, we have so many film stars who smoke, and when their scenes come, that's the reason the role of films in tobacco cessation is very important. So with this background, every one of you, each of you can be a role model. There are various ways in contributing to tobacco control by the health professionals, either a medical student or a medical professional or a married medical professional. You can be a role model. You should not smoke and should see that others don't smoke. As a clinician, you can help in tobacco cessation. As an educator, you can educate the lay public and your colleagues in tobacco cessation and tobacco. As a scientist, you can conduct tobacco-related research. As a leader, you can insist on tobacco control in the community, in your region, in your state, and your country. You can be an opinion builder by seeing that the ill effects of tobacco are well known to the public, and thereby the general population has a particular opinion over the ill effects of tobacco. You can be an alliance builder. You have to involve various organizations in tobacco cessation, and you have to watch out as an activist for tobacco industry activities, not only as a individual, as a doctor, as a medical professional or an allied medical professional, but also medical organizations like the IMA, Association of Physicians of India, Cardiological Association of India should indulge in and should be active, proactive in as an advocacy efforts in tobacco cessation. So with this, every trainer or every trainee who undergoes tobacco cessation, you should aim at preventing the non-tobacco users from starting to use. One, if someone is not using tobacco in your population, you should see that they should not start using tobacco. If they are users of tobacco, like tobacco users, you have to assist them in quitting. And if they are exposed to tobacco smoke in the form of second-hand smoke, you should see that they are protected from the second-hand smoke. And in that, we have to identify the tobacco users and deliver the brief tobacco intervention and assist them in quitting. Every non-tobacco user should be educated about the dangers of second-hand smoke and avoid exposure to second-hand smoke. There are various treatment methodologies which start from a brief intervention or a behavioral way, or a brief counseling in the clinic and a long-term counseling through either a personal face-to-face intervention, group counseling, or a telephonic counseling proactively or retroactively from the patient side. We have the quit lines also in the country, Then the other one is a pharmacological interventions. Ultimately, in my opinion, as a clinician for the last 20 years, I believe most of the times in a brief counseling and a long-term counseling, we have basically the telephonic counseling is very important, and pharmacological interventions practically and usually I have not been giving except the nicotine replacement therapy. I do not encourage unless until he is associated with other addictions, we refer to the psychiatrist. What is important, the take home message from this talk is any person coming to your clinic or hospital or your healthcare setting, there are 5 ways given by the American Association of Family Physicians and others. 5 ways. Someone comes with tobacco, we ask him, yeah, do you use tobacco? Do you smoke? Asking them about the smoking status. Then we have to advise if they say yes or no. If they say yes, they do smoke, we have to advise that they need to quit it. Then we have to assess, yeah, if you're smoking and you need to stop it. Are you ready to quit? Yeah, that is assessment. Assess their readiness to quit. Okay. Then assess yes. If they say yes, I am ready to quit it, then we have to assist the patient with a quit plan or provide information on specialist support. Then we have to arrange for a. These are the 5 ways of. So the brief. Are you able to hear? Yeah. 5 ways: asking, advise, assess, assist, and arrange. Suppose if they says yeah, the third one, asking after asking about tobacco usage or smoking usage, advising them. Then if they say they're ready to quit it, we go ahead with that. So if they say that they are not ready to quit, yeah, why you are not ready to quit? Relevance. You have to tell how quitting is. Then we follow what is the 5 R's. So 5 A's and 5 R's. Please remember them. As a trainee in tobacco system, you have to remember that. Relevance. If they say they are not ready to quit, you have to tell them what is the relevance of quitting, how quitting is most personally related, relevant to you. Then what are the risks involved? If you continue to smoke or use tobacco, what are the risks involved? You have to tell them. Then what are the benefits of quitting, the rewards? Then what would be the difficulties about quitting? Why you do not want to quit? That we have to assess. Then suppose if you after following this, then there is repetition. You have to go through the entire process again. These are the 5 R's. Repeat assessment of readiness to quit. If still they are not ready to quit, repeat the intervention at a later. Go on with a later date. But don't quit your attempts. As a clinician, as a medical professional, you have to see that you attain success in tobacco cessation of the tobacco user. So the primary purpose of a brief tobacco intervention is to help the patient understand the risk of tobacco usage and motivate them to make a quit attempt. Brief intervention is only for 3 to 5 minutes in the clinic, which we do routinely. They encourage the heavy tobacco users to seek or accept a referral to more intensive treatment within the community at the group counseling. So these are the results from some Cochrane studies. Like if it is less than 3 minutes, minimal counseling, low intensity counseling for 3 to 10 minutes, and higher intensity counseling for more than 10 minutes. Initially, our low intensity counseling, brief 3 to 10 minutes in the clinic is enough. And subsequently, if you want it, you can prolong it to a more than 10 minutes. A higher intensity counseling is required. For this purpose, in our clinic, we have done a research through a telephonic counseling. Like Cochrane review has told that if repeated counseling, 3 to 5 telephonic counselings are done proactively from the doctors or the medical centers point of view, if we give a telephonic call to them and at least three counseling attempts, first month, second month, or third month, the success rate of through telephonic counseling is proven to be high. And we have presented in the World Congress of Cardiology in 2014 a clinic-based tobacco cessation program through telephonic counseling. So 5 A's and 5 R's. Ask, advise, assess, assist, and arrange. Then if a person is not ready to quit, then go to the 5 R's. Next, remember this mnemonic STAR. If someone is willing to quit it, give him a quit plan. That is a STAR. STAR stands for setting a quit date. Say within 2 weeks, you have to give him a quit date. Tell the family, friends, and co-workers about the quitting and request understanding and support. Then anticipate the challenges to the upcoming quit attempt. Are there any challenges? So set a quit date. Tell the family and friends of this person about the quitting, and you request their understanding and support in help them quitting. Suppose someone you involvement in tobacco cessation. Okay, his friends continue to insist on smoking. So tell them that yeah, he's involved in a quit plan. So please do not offer him anything. And if the family members are there, even if you to smoke one cigarette, what happens? Nothing will happen. So these are sort of things which patients say tobacco users. So we are to the T stands for the support from the family, friends, and other co-workers. Then what are the challenges to suppose someone will attempt to quit, but there could be some problems. We have to anticipate these challenges and see that he quits completely. Then remove the tobacco products from your environment, make your home smoke free. Okay, remove all the cigarettes and cigarette products from his area. So this is a star. So if someone follows a star, he can become a star in tobacco cessation. Then if this tobacco user says, sir, I'm unable to quit it, but give me some ideas. So then comes the 4Ds in tobacco cessation. Every time the person tobacco user has an urge to puff, delay, say if he wants to, as see the physical dependencies with the movement, it depends on the dopaminergic system's activation, isn't it? So the basis for the urge is the dopaminergic activation. So delay it. You delay the urge, wait for some more minutes. Instead of smoking 10 minutes, take more time. So this comes with practice. So delay the usage of tobacco. Or deep breathing. If someone has an urge, do deep breathing or meditation. This will help them relax. Then, or drink water. This will refresh the body and flush out toxins. Or do something, take a shower. So these are the 4Ds which you tell the tobacco user to help in quitting. Then suppose someone is exposed to second-hand smoke, we have to assist these patients in avoiding second-hand smoke. Remember the mnemonic MAD-T. So for the patient willing to reduce their exposure to second-hand smoke, the actions MAD-T can be taken to aid the patient. What is this? Meet friends. And suppose someone is, we see restaurants and other places where people continuously smoke. So what is the common thing in socializing here in our country or anywhere else? If they want to hang out, they go to a place, a restaurant and all that. There we see some people smoking and all that. You cannot avoid that. So choose a place where the space is smoke free, a garden or some place where it's smoke free. That is M. A, ask family, friends, and visitors, family members and visitors to smoke outside. Suppose someone is smoking, you go in a train, you go in a bus. Okay. Commonly, what happens? Someone will be smoking. You cannot, even if you request, they say you get down first and move out. Okay, the only place where they cannot insist is when they go for a US visa in the US consulate or in a flight to US or elsewhere, because smoking is totally banned and the ban is strictly enforced there, whereas the ban is not enforced in our trains and roadside places or roads in our country. Okay, so choose a smoke-free area. Declare home and personal spaces to smoke-free. The National Tobacco Control Program in India insists that every office, both private and public, should have a board that no one should use smoke in that area. Then T stands for talking to family members and workmates of the risk of second-hand smoke. Encourage family members and workmates who smoke to stop. Then advocate comprehensive smoke-free laws or regulations in workplaces. This is insisted in the WHO's framework convention on tobacco control. So this is how you have to avoid second-hand smoke. No, lastly, briefly about pharmacotherapy. There's what is called the Fagenstrom test. Fagenstrom's test is an instrument to assess the physical addiction to nicotine, the dependence on tobacco, both for smoking form and smokeless form. The Fagenstrom score is that after the Fagenstrom test, we have the modified Fagenstrom test both for smoking form and the non-smoking form, where there's a score and the dependency is assessed, low dependence to high dependence, and based on that you choose there are various questions in that. How soon after you wake up you take your first cigarette? Will you be able to resist lack of smoking or for a long time, or whether you can avoid smoking in the first place in the early in the morning, and how many cigarettes you smoke? Okay, these are some of the questions. Based on that, the tobacco dependence or nicotine dependence is assessed by the Fagenstrom test. Remember, Fagenstrom test is used to test nicotine dependence. The various form of medication could be nicotine forms or the non-nicotine forms. Pharmacological. The nicotine replacement therapy could be the nicotine gum patches, and the non-nicotine drugs basically are the bupropion, varenicline, and clonidine, and other drugs. Basically, This is basically the NRT used for stopping smoking, reduce withdrawal symptoms, reduce desire to smoke. Bupropion and varenicline, of course, this is in this talk, this is beyond the scope of discussing in detail about the pharmacological aspect, but bupropion and varenicline. This is a drug which is developed specifically for smoking cessation, though it is used elsewhere. Because of the cost, in my practice, we have not been using. I think it costs around 6,000 to 7,000 rupees. We tried it a few years back, but because of the cost, many people. This is basically, this will block the nicotine, partial blocking of nicotine, and partially stimulating the receptors. Varenicline. Okay, with this knowledge given, I think we should understand that knowing the knowledge of tobacco and tobacco cessation is not enough. We must apply, and willing is not enough. We must do. So we should have the knowledge, and we have to apply this knowledge. Even if you want to do, even if you have a strong will to perform tobacco cessation and enforce tobacco cessation, just that will is not enough. You have to do various activities in tobacco cessation, which we have been doing for the last 22 years. So the community interventions in the form of tobacco. See, ultimately the tobacco cessation involves, you have to, basically tobacco user, we have to target. To non-tobacco users, we have to see that they don't start using tobacco. Then the non-tobacco user, but exposed to second-hand smoke and third-hand smoke, we have to see that we have to reduce and stop their exposure to tobacco usage. I have told you the mnemonic MAT. And those using tobacco, to set up a quit date, remember star. Think you are a star and follow star. Then you can do the quit date. Then the 5 A's and 5 R's, remember them. Then you can enforce tobacco cessation strictly. So in the various ways of community action could be pregnant women can be targeted and we are home visits to them in the community. Basically, those patients with chronic diseases, we can target them. Community health education, sanitation, health screening, data collection, surveys in the community. We have been collecting data of various departments and rural and urban areas in Warangal. Now we are anticipating what's called the Warangal Heart Registry. And one of the risk factors is tobacco usage and community public campaigns. Lastly, this is one of this first World Heart Day which I have been doing which we started in 2005. World No Tobacco Day is on 31st May every year, and this is every year, like the World Heart Day. World No Tobacco Day also has got a specific theme, and this first one in 2005, the role of health professionals in tobacco control. So this was a meet held in MGM Hospital, Warangal, Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital. Quit lines, specialist service cessation clinic, web-based self-help materials are some of the other things. Self-help materials, we printed in Telugu a fact sheet on tobacco and about tobacco cessation. We have been distributing it to the smokers and tobacco users attending at our clinic, and also distributed to the high school children in Warangal, both urban and rural. This is one of the World Heart Days events, World No Tobacco Day events, which we conducted in our clinic, attended by many people from Warangal. This is one of the World No Tobacco Day, which in 2010, I think it conducted in Ravindra Bharati, where Puttur Venkateshwara Rao, the president of the Cardiological Society of India, then Dr. B.K. Shastri. That year, the theme was the role of films in tobacco cessation. So we called a film director, a film producer, a journalist, senior journalist, Sri Puttur Venkateshwara Rao, late Sri Venkateshwara Rao. We called one film actor. He is Mr. Kashi Vishwanath. We called Sri Madhubuchi Sridhar, who is a senior-most law professional in our country, one of the former Right to Information Commission, National Commission, and we invited Sri Chandra Bose, who is the film lyricist, with Roads and Transport. Then we conduct the meet. This is one of the NCC cadets speaking that meet in 1 month. Then this was the World No Tobacco Day. Various organizations in Warangal, the NGOs and TNGOs participated in that meet, because we have to target the organizations to involve in tobacco cessation. We have the former Director of Health and former DMHO, Senior Medical Professional Dr. Sam Shivrao in this meet. one tobacco meet we invited. This is in the NRA Hall, KMC. The then superintendent of police who attended this meet, Sri Venkat. I think he's Mr. Venkateshwar. I think was the former one of the police SPs earlier. This was a press meet in World No Tobacco Day in the Press Club Warangal on the ill effects of tobacco. This is a district collectorate, a tobacco meet on World No Tobacco Day 2009. This is an official program from the district. And ultimately, I'm happy that various pharmacy professionals have been involved from the Balaji Institute of Pharmacy, Sri JMK College of Pharmacy in this tobacco prevention meet, where the pharmacy students participate in the tobacco cessation activities. In various rural areas, we did it. This was in a primary health center in Damera. This was in primary health center Dugondi, in Sangam, Shayanpet, Atmakur, and this is an area hospital Parkal and one area. Then this is another primary health center with the primary PHC staff. This is another primary health center, one in Chennaropet. Okay, so ultimately we have to involve the medical students, professionals, the medical organizations, and even the pharmacy professionals and allied medical professionals like physiotherapy and pharmacy in this tobacco prevention. Ultimately, we should know why this is important. Being the most common preventable cause of death, WHO has enunciated what is called the FCTC, Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, which is an international legal treaty, and it has enunciated the Empower package. For an effective tobacco cessation program, we have to monitor tobacco use and prevention policy. We have to protect people from tobacco usage. We have to offer them to quit. We have to warn about the dangers of tobacco. We have to enforce ban on tobacco advertising and raising taxes. Of this is called as Empower policy, of which raising taxes is the most important one, and proven therapy, proven package for tobacco cessation. So for effective implementation of tobacco prevention in India, we have to translate the WHO's Empower policy to practice. So we have the Cigarette and Other Tobacco Products Act in India, which is an extensive one. We have the National Tobacco Control National Tobacco Control Program in India, which has come in the year 2009 to 12, and it is still in force. But unfortunately, it is. So just I want to humbly place before you the recognition from the WHO in 2013, which has given a award in 2013, and I received it from the then Union Secretary, Mr. Raju, in New Delhi. So ultimately, for tobacco cessation to be effective, having the knowledge of the facts of tobacco usage, the ill effects of tobacco usage, effects of the various systems, what are the benefits of tobacco cessation, the epidemiology, knowing about the epidemiology of tobacco epidemic, like knowing the knowledge of tobacco epidemic globally and in India, then the pathophysiology of nicotine or tobacco addiction, then how do you practice tobacco cessation, knowing about the 5 years and 5 hours. Okay, then the star mnemonic, and for second-hand smoke, the MAT-T, what I've told you. These are the things which have been given by the WHO. I think we should insist and practice tobacco cessation, which is a very common risk factor in a routine clinical practice. And with the United Nations aim of reducing premature mortality from non-communicable diseases, particularly tobacco usage is one of the non-communicable risk factor for non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular disease, malignancies, and other things. 25, this is called as 25 by 25, reducing premature mortality by 25% by 2025. This is the WHO's or United Nations plan to reduce deaths from NCD, particularly cardiovascular disease, by 25% by 2025. I think a knowledge of tobacco, and with this knowledge, a practice of tobacco cessation is quite essential, more so with the experience of COVID. Ultimately, we must become the change we want to see. Thank you so much. I think it's quite a long time. I have given an overview of tobacco cessation, and we are some of the research what we have done earlier was apart from the clinic-based tobacco cessation program. Now we are ready to publish a long-term cessation, like all those who participated tobacco cessation 2012 to 14. We have given a long term cessation, like whether they're still practicing tobacco cessation or not, above 500 people were involved then. And of those who continues to smoke, what is their morbidity and mortality right now? We are yet to publish our study results. Dr. Preetham is a co-author in this, and we are going to publish it shortly. And one of the other things from our studies is the Warangal Area Cardiac Registry. Tobacco, as I told earlier, is the third common risk factor for sudden cardiac arrest, particularly the out of hospital situation. And in one study which we published in 2012, submitted at the World Congress of Cardiology at Dubai, of those coronary artery disease in the young, less than 40 years, out of 150, tobacco is the main risk factor. Therefore, tobacco is the risk factor in the young is quite common. So with this background, I insist. And other thing is basically for all those medical students who are involved in this art initiative, I can give many topics for research or community. So this is a initiative to help you in the art initiative. You can create awareness on tobacco usage and its ill effects in the community. You can do research on tobacco. I can see about the tobacco usage in women, both pregnant and non-pregnant women, in the pediatric age group, what is their effect, and so many topics, nearly 5 to 10 topics. And given if anyone is interested, they are welcome to contact, and you can do this research on this tobacco, because tobacco related research is quite very important, particularly in our country and particularly in the low to middle income countries. Then the teaching and training, this is one of the part of tobacco related training. So the specific topics like the effects of tobacco on cardiovascular disease and health effects is extensive one. The effect of smokeless tobacco on cardiovascular disease also is a very extensive topic. So with this, I conclude the meet, and if there are any doubts, in the next 5 minutes, you can ask. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello, yes, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, this is not a doubt, but I just wanted to share something. In most of the countries, like especially developed and the upper state of the developing countries, they have actively taken force by banning all tobacco products. Like you cannot advertise a cigarette anymore since the early 1970s in countries like the United Kingdom, United States and all. But then, as you said, lower income countries, for example, Indonesia, it allows advertisement of all sorts of tobacco products.
Yeah.
But the problem in India, in my opinion, as it is in many other countries, is disguised advertising.
Yeah.
Like they are using the name of the liquor brand or the pan masala brand, but they're not advertising that product. They're finding a loophole in the law.
Yeah, that's true. So what you told is absolutely correct, Mr. Rohit. So that is the reason we are doing this tobacco cessation topic for discussion purpose, so that see the COTP Act, what are the components and various rules in the COTP Act, what are the components of the National Tobacco Control Program. There are so many things. So see, even in that, there are very subtle things like a person should not sell tobacco in the form of like they cannot keep the tobacco products hanging, what you see in the routine pawn shops hanging from that. The rule says they cannot be displayed like that. They have to kept in a very concealed area. The other, so those things. So if any of you are interested, I can give the English version and the translated version of COTP Act in Telugu also, so that you can do some research how COTP Act is implemented in the community, how Empower program is implemented in our country. So and even in films also, cigarette usage should be banned. The script should not contain tobacco usage. Okay. Do you see? No. In all the film stars, any film, it says that not only the male stars, but in the female film stars, they smoke. So in that only thing is they think that an advice, a simple advisory, like smoking is injurious to health, alcohol usage is injurious to health, will suffice. No. So I've been counting the number of cigarette usage or smoking related scenes in every film earlier, and I've given a letter to the government also, but this doesn't, because there's so many lobbyists working against this one. So this topic in the art initiative is a very important one, at the ground level one, and each of you should become a part of this art initiative in seeing that tobacco cessation is successful. So we have under Right to Information Act, both at the district level, state level, national level, have assessed how the National Tobacco Control Program is in vogue. But ultimately, despite that, the rules existence, the existence of the NTC National Tobacco Control Program rules and guidelines, which is a very extensive one, not even 1% of them is being followed in the country. So ultimately, as clinicians, not only we have to target the individuals, tobacco users or smokers who visit our clinic, but also the community at large, and see that tobacco cessation is successful. So there are so many things.
Sir, I had another doubt with respect to, you said role of clinicians, right?
Yeah.
Sir, a person like tends to listen to someone when like the person who's giving the advice themselves follows the advice. But the sad part is many doctors also, in spite of knowing the risk in smoking and allied activities, they indulge in them. So why will a patient follow the doctor's advice in such a scenario?
So
Like I have seen so many doctors and students in the medical field who cannot go a day without packing 1.5 packs.
That's the reason
Smoking.
of all the things. This is a very important slide which I have kept it. 1 minute. This is a very important slide. 1 minute, I'll just tell that. Yeah. So the role of health, you should be a role model, isn't it? So if you are a role model to others, I've seen people earlier. So it is not that we need to comment on someone else. See, this tobacco cessation project or program is very important. You need not criticize. Even if someone is using tobacco and if he visits your clinic, we have to follow the 5 A's and 5 R's. You should not like a very strong, you should tell them in a strong way, and you have to be very soft in helping them to quit tobacco. That's a very important thing. So there are various studies on usage of tobacco usage among the medical professionals. There are various studies. If you are interested, you can do in the NTR Health University or College Health University and all that. This is not for simple research alone. By doing this, we have some doctors who have been medical students earlier who presented with an acute coronary syndrome to me earlier, an MI earlier. So as medical students, ultimately our aim is to see that the societies got rid of tobacco usage. Now, as far as the trade, there are various trade laws also. So as you told, some countries have banned tobacco usage, but you cannot, there is no law to ban tobacco production, isn't it? But there are, so that comes on the National Tobacco Control Program, where agriculturists are encouraged to have an alternative crop. So there are so many things. So I've given an outline. If any of you are interested, the NTCP program, COTP Act, you can collect the data and material from me. You can be a tobacco activist, you can be a tobacco related researcher or a community health worker who can encourage tobacco cessation in the community. Okay. So I think with this, there are no more doubts. We'll link this one. So the take-home message is what is the global epidemiology of tobacco usage? What are the facts related to tobacco? Remember, tobacco is the most common preventable cause of death and second most common cause for death throughout the world. To lead to death, disability, and hence we have to enforce tobacco cessation. I have given an outline of the 5 A's and 5 R's about the STAR mnemonic STAR campaign to enforce or help tobacco user quitting tobacco, about the MAT-T mnemonic in enforcing or preventing a person who is exposed to second-hand smoke, how to enforce it, and about the brief tobacco counseling, and then the pharmacotherapy and some other World No Tobacco activities, the WHO's framework convention on tobacco control, enunciating the Empower policy, and some of the World No Tobacco Day and research activities which I have been doing. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. And this is the end of the initiative. Next week, we can have one more talk that's basically on the cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Basically, we'll discuss about the lay rescue of CPR and some of the CPR programs which we have been conducting earlier. Thank you so much. And I thank everyone of you in attending this evening Sunday edition of the ART initiative. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.